What's up, everybody? Bienvenido a Mexico. Welcome. In today's video, I am going to share with you my monthly expense in Mexico City. This is my first time in Mexico City, so I made sure to track all my expenses so I could share with you exactly how much I spend during 1 month in Mexico City. Let's get started. If it's your first time, welcome. My name is Salua. I am a full-time digital nomad. I have been for the last 4 years almost, and I have traveled to 29 countries. So if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing for more content about digital nomad lifestyle and how to make money remotely. All right, so I spent 1 month in Mexico City. I stayed in Condesa in the center of Mexico City. That area, it's a little bit more upscale, a little bit more expensive, and this is where most of the foreigners and expats stay. Please note that when you travel to Mexico, you can really stretch a dollar. The monthly expenses really vary depending on your lifestyle, on your non-negotiable, and more. But I'm going to share exactly how much I spend as a digital nomad in Mexico City. The very first thing, lodging. Some of you may know I have been house sitting for the last 4 years, so I haven't paid any rent in a long time. I do pay rent here and there when I have little pockets of time, couple of days here, couple of days there, or whenever I really want to go somewhere and not house sit. So in this case, I found a really great house sitting gigs in Condesa, right on Avenue Amsterdam. And because I house sit for a whole month, I did not pay anything. If you are interested in house sitting as well, make sure to watch this video because I explain exactly how I've been house sitting for those past 4 years and how you can travel and live rent-free. So rent for me was zero. However, if you are interested in getting an Airbnb in the center of Mexico City, an area like Roma Norte or Condesa or even El Centro, it will cost you about $1,200 a month. Again, if you spend a little time researching, you can definitely find a lot cheaper. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna say that I paid $1,200 for 1 month Airbnb in Condesa. The next thing is food. So I love to cook and I do go to grocery stores. So in Mexico City, I decided to go to the grocery store. We are right in front of Walmart. I'm gonna go in, do some food shopping, and I will let you know how much I paid. I just came back from Walmart. Here is my bag. I bought a lot of groceries. So I essentially had groceries for a whole week. And voila, these are my groceries. Lettuce, baguette, more lettuce, bread, tomatoes, pasta, mushrooms, olive oil, flan, butter, cheese, heavy cream, sodas, coffee creamer, more flans and flans, lemons, coffee, tuna, cheese, more yogurt, and that's it. And over there, I bought groceries for 1 week and my total was about $60 US. However, if you go to the local market, again, you can find a lot cheaper as well. Also, I made an experiment. I found out that eating out was on average $7 per meal. And so when I equated the two, I realized that buying groceries at Walmart Express versus eating out was about the same. So I started to eat out a little bit more than I usually do, simply because it was a little bit cheaper than in the US, for example. I really just eat once a day out. I mean, in the morning I have my coffee, I rarely have breakfast, and then around between 3 and 5 I really have a good meal and I don't really snack. So that's why it costs me that much. If you eat 3 times a day out, it will definitely cost you more, obviously. But in this case, it cost me about $50 a week to eat out. So my total for my meals were around $200 a month. I did not count my coffee. So in the morning, I make coffee from home or I go to a coffee shop. And in Mexico City, again, in the area I stayed, a coffee was around $2 to $3 or 45 pesos. So when I did the calculation, I would add an extra $50 at the end of the month just on coffee. And the reason why I'm adding coffee in my budget, it's because I actually work from coffee shop. It really depends. Sometimes I would book a co-working space, but co-working space would vary somewhere between $100 to $200. And in this case, $50 a month was a lot cheaper. So I decided to just work from coffee shops. So it gives me a place to work for a couple hours with good Wi-Fi, and also it allows me to discover the area. Note that when I do a house sit, I also have full Wi-Fi at the house, so I would mix my time between coffee shop and working from home.
What's up, everybody? Today we are in Condesa and I'm sitting here having a coffee. So you can see I have my coffee and I've been eating, and so I wanted to share with you how much I've been spending. So I got 2 coffees and 2 croissants, 1 chocolate croissant, 1 croissant, and I've been here for hours working, and the total I paid was 150 pesos, which is the equivalent of $7. So that way you'll have an idea of how much I spent on coffee. I prefer to be here because the atmosphere is nice. I'm sitting outside. There's like a lot of cafes, and there's a park next to me. So there we go. So you have it. This is the average I would be spending per day if I would go to a coffee shop to work.
All right, so the next thing I spent money on was transportation. So again, in Condesa, I honestly pretty much walked everywhere, but of course, Mexico City is huge, so I also took Uber, and some locals told me that the other rideshare called Didi is a lot cheaper, and I actually compared the two, and I did find Didi a lot cheaper, so I downloaded the app and I started ordering my ride through the Didi app, and I took 18 rides for the whole month that I was in Mexico City, and my total equated to $82 or an average of $4.50 per ride. You can also rent bike and you can also take public transportation, but for me, walking and taking a DD whenever I need it was perfectly fine. Please note that this does not include tips. I usually tip between 10 to 20 pesos on the app. The next thing I spent money on was entertainment / tours and all of that fun stuff. So again, a lot of the stuff I've done were free. I've done a lot of museums. I walked around a lot. I went to Library Vasconcelos, and I've done a lot of stuff that are actually free and very pleasant. And I booked only 2 different tours. One was Xochimilco, which I paid $30 per person. We had hired the whole boat for us. We were 4 people and we paid $70 for the ride. I did pay for my friend, so that's why I paid $30. Otherwise, it would have been $15. So totally worth it. The other thing that I want to include in entertainment was going out. I went out a couple of times and I did buy a drink here and there. I'm not a big drinker, but a drink on average in Mexico City would be around 150 to 200 pesos, which would be around $7 to $10. So I calculated this into the entertainment budget. So my totals for entertainment in Mexico City were $100. Not bad. So an important factor that I need to share with you is that number 1, I'm not really on vacation. So yes, I go around, I visit places, I do a lot of things, but most of my days I work. So if you are going to Mexico City on vacation, you would probably spend a lot more money because you would do a lot more things and you probably eat out a lot more and drink and so on. The other thing is I house sit, so I don't pay for anything when it comes to rent, and that's a plus. That's a lot of money that I've been saving. And the other thing is I've done a lot of free stuff, not because they were free, but because they were really interesting. And there's a lot of museum and things to do in Mexico City that are free. So that allows me also to save money that way. And it was actually fun. I don't regret going. Like, it's not, I didn't go there because I was on a budget and I was like, I can do those. No, I really wanted to do these things and I'm just glad that they were free. So my total for the month in Mexico City, you want to hear drum rolls? Is $432. This is how much I spent in Mexico City. But I'm gonna round this up to 500 just to add the tips and couple of expenses here and there. So I would say that my monthly expense in Mexico City was actually $500, and I did not pay rent. So if I did pay rent, I would have had to add $1,200 for an Airbnb on average, and then my total monthly expense for Mexico City would be $1,700. So if you know how to stretch your dollars, if you know how to save money, honestly, Mexico City is a great city. I really love it. I'm not afraid to tip and to spend money on things that I love, but if I can save money too, why not? Please leave in the comment section below how much you have been spending per month visiting Mexico City. I know that when I lived in Arizona, my monthly expense were around $3,000 just for the basic stuff. I'm just so glad to be a digital nomad, so I can travel the world, pay practically nothing, especially when I house it and discover new places while I'm still making an income from my laptop. If you like this video, make sure to watch this video on how you can travel for free right here. Please leave your comments in the section down below. It was a pleasure to talking to you today, and I send you lots of kisses from Mexico. Bye-bye.